Have you ever stopped to think about who actually decides what you learn in school? I mean, it's not just about memorizing dates or formulas, right? There's this hidden philosophy going on, a whole system of values that shapes everything, from the books you read to the kind of questions you're even taught to ask. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this invisible force that has a huge impact on all of our lives.
I mean, let's be real. This quote kind of hits home for all of us, doesn't it? We are constantly swimming in this sea of conflicting ideas about what's right, what's good, what's important. And in a world with so much noise, we all kind of hope that education can be the thing that gives us a little clarity, a way to find our footing.
But that, right there, raises a massive question. If education is supposed to guide the next generation, well, who gets to write the guide? Who decides which values get passed on and which ones don't? This is not a simple problem, and it's one that philosophy actually has a specific branch dedicated to figuring out. And that brings us to the key word for today, axiology. It's basically the formal study of value itself. You can think of it as the engine room of philosophy, the part that digs into that fundamental question of why we value certain things more than others.
When you break down the word, it's actually surprisingly simple. Axios is just Greek for worth, and logos means the study of. So axiology is literally the study of what is worthwhile. It's the part of philosophy that gets right to the heart of all our judgments and our preferences.
So, what does a person who studies this, an axiologist, actually do all day? Well, they ask these huge questions you see here. What even is a value? Where do our values come from in the first place? Are they universal, or do we just make them up? And, this is a big one, who really benefits when a society decides to adopt a certain set of values? Okay, so axiology usually gets broken down into two major fields. The first one is probably the most familiar to all of us. It deals with some of the biggest questions we face as human beings, and this is the field of ethics.
So ethics is the study of moral value. It's trying to answer that age-old question, how should I behave? It's all about creating a framework for right action, trying to figure out what makes something good or evil, just or unjust.
The heart of ethics really revolves around these kinds of questions. What's good or bad? What's right or wrong? And are these principles universal? Do they apply to everyone, everywhere? Or is it all relative? These are the exact debates that have shaped laws, entire societies, and of course, what we teach our kids about how to be good people.
So, if ethics is all about what is good, the second branch of axiology asks a totally different but just as important question. What is beautiful? This is the world of aesthetics.
Aesthetics basically asks, what is beauty and what makes something a work of art? And it's not just about fancy paintings in a museum, it applies to everything from the music we love to the design of the phone in your hand. It's the study of what makes something pleasing or engaging or just plain profound to our senses.
You can see how different these questions are from ethics, right? Now we're asking things like, what is beauty? Is it just in the eye of the beholder, or are there some objective standards? These aesthetic values also find their way into our education system, and they help determine what art and music gets taught and what's considered culturally important.
Okay, so we've got ethics, the study of good, and aesthetics, the study of beauty. But how does all this abstract, philosophical stuff actually show up in a classroom? Well, it turns out that these values are never neutral. In fact, they create the very foundation of our educational systems.
This quote from Ross really says it all, doesn't it? Every single choice made in education, what books to read, what subjects to prioritize, even how we define success, it's all rooted in some philosophical belief about what is valuable.
This table makes it so incredibly clear. Let's just look at these two examples. So, an idealist philosophy values big ideas above everything else. So its goal for education is all about self-realization and developing the soul. The curriculum then focuses on the great works of humanity, literature, art, history. But now compare that with pragmatism. A pragmatic philosophy values what works in the real world. So its goal for education is social efficiency and problem solving. And the curriculum, it's all about utility, hands-on activities, and what the child is interested in. You see? Two different sets of values lead to two completely different kinds of school.
And this brings it all right back to our own experience. The way you were taught wasn't an accident. It was the direct result of a specific set of values, a specific axiology, whether anyone ever said it out loud or not.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Think about your own schooling. Was it more like the idealists, focused on timeless truths and cultural heritage, or was it more pragmatic, focused on practical skills and being useful to society? Once you start looking for it, I promise you, you'll see this hidden philosophy of values absolutely everywhere.